letting this guy in your house is a lot like letting a fox into the hen house. Let's get into it. Hey, welcome back to my channel. And today, the movie I'm referencing is 2014's The Guest. Yes, this movie is rated R. It's an hour and 40 minutes long and it had a budget of $5 million. And this film was directed by Adam Wingard. Adam Wingard was just coming off of the success of You're Next, which I really love that film. I'll review that eventually. And this was his next film, and I know they had high hopes going into it. We'll get into that a little bit. And they brought Dan Stevens in to play David. We have Lance Reddick, who you'll remember as the guy who works at the front desk in the John Wick films at the Continental, as Major Carver. We have Maika Monroe as Anna. For me, I know her from It Follows. She was in that film, and I like that film a lot as well. And Leland Orser's in this film as Spencer the father. And he's been in a ton of films. He was in Seven. He was the gentleman they found at that sleazy club where you can rent rooms to have sex with prostitutes. He was the guy that had that strap-on knife on that killed that prostitute. He was in that film. He was in Taken as one of Liam Neeson's buddies that used to work for the CIA. He's in a ton of films. He's very recognizable. You see him. He's one of those guys, you see him pop up screen, like, I've seen that guy before. That's Leland Orser. Now, basically, this movie is this family that lives in New Mexico is kind of still grieving from the loss of their son/brother who served in the military and got killed in battle. And this gentleman shows up at the door, David, played by Dan Stevens, and he tells them, I was really good friends with your son, and I made a promise to him if anything would happen to him that I would come and check up on you and make sure you are okay. And as soon as I got out, I came directly to your house to check up on you. And the mother, who was home when David shows up, and is the first one to have contact with him, is taken by this gentleman. He's very nice. He's very polite. And you could see it without her saying anything. She's very good, the woman who plays the mother, because she latches on to him like she just got her son back. And it's like she needed this. She needed David to show up to make her feel whole again, because her demeanor changes. Like when we first see her, and it's very quickly, it happens very quick. They don't monkey around they don't waste too much time on that. But you can see her being kind of like going through the motions, kind of depressed, and all of a sudden her demeanor picks up once David shows up and starts hanging out with the family. And the rest of the family latch on to him pretty quick too. The son does, because David helps him with his schoolwork, and he helps him with his bully problem at school. And the only one that's a little standoffish is Anna. But the one night, her mother tells her to ask David to go to this party with her, this party that her friend's having. So he goes, and everybody seems to like him right away. And this one girl, the girl that's having the party, really likes David, But her ex-boyfriend shows up, and this is where we start seeing some of David's capabilities. And he basically kicks this guy's ass very quickly. It's a very short, little, violent moment. He kicks his ass, and we move on. And there's a scene in a bar where he takes care of the brother's bully problem. They're in there drinking underage, and he goes in with the brother. And he doesn't start the fight, but he definitely sets in motion what will lead to a fight. He didn't want to start it, you could tell, but he knew how if he did a certain thing, it was going to get them to react. That's what he wants, and he ends up kicking these kids' asses for the brother to make him feel better and teach him how to defend himself. And all of a sudden, weird stuff starts to happen. The dad's boss, who he complains about at one moment talking to David, ends up dying. Like him and the boss and his wife end up passing away, and the dad gets the promotion to this job. And a couple other people die off, but nobody knows it's David, and they don't know what's going on. And then we're introduced to Major Carver, and he's at a meeting at this KPG. It's a defense contractor. And he gets interrupted in this meeting, gets pulled out. And here, Anna had called the military to check up on David, where he's been, when he got out of the military. And they tell her that he passed away in a fire at this facility. Well, this fuels Anna's suspicions. She confronts David in the kitchen. He's helping the mother do something in the kitchen, and he just he explains it away by going, I was in the special forces. I'm not really allowed to tell you about my service, but they might just be telling you that, but because they can't tell you what I've been doing or where I was. And the mother and the father buy it. The brother, I don't think, buys it. He even comes off later and says, I don't care what you've done. You're my friend, and you've helped me out, so I don't care what you do. And that's kind of his stance on it. Like, he doesn't care, but Anna's definitely not on board with it at all. And then it's just the mother and David at home one day, and then Major Carver shows up with these other special forces guys because they want to get David back or kill him because they know he's dangerous, which we're about to find out why. And there's a shootout at the house, David and the mother in the kitchen, and the mother's like, "What's going on, David?" And David ends up killing her with a butcher knife, and you could see the shock and and just the devastation in her face when he kills her. And he even says, "I'm sorry." You can tell he doesn't want to do it, but he has to do it. That's his program, or whatever they did to him, these experiments they did to him. He has to cover up him being there. Anybody who's seen him and knows what he is now or what they think he is. And they only explain it a little bit. Once Anna gets into Major Carver gets away. Well, he's chasing David, but he gets Anna, and he tells her a little bit like they were doing experiments on these soldiers, and they thought he was dead, but by the time they realized he was still alive, he was already gone. So they've been tracking him. They didn't know where he was, and they never go into what exactly they were doing to these soldiers, but basically he comes off as almost like Van Damme from Universal Soldier, or I would even describe him as Michael Myers with the killer from Silent Rage, but with more personality, obviously, because he's more human. He talks, he has a personality, and that's kind of what he's like. Because this movie's an action thriller, but it's also framed as a horror film, for sure. And there's plenty of blood once the action hits the fan later on in the film. The film takes its time. You see moments of violence in the beginning, like here or there, sparsely. And in the last half hour, everything goes to shit, and it's just goes like a freight train right to the end of the film. And at the end of the film takes place in this school gym. The school gym's all decorated for a Halloween dance, and this is the coolest ass Halloween dance I've ever seen. I wish when I was that age we had Halloween dances like this, but they have some awesome decorations and a cool setup. And we have Major Carver gets killed by David, so does this teacher that was there, and it's up to Anna and her brother to kill David, which they think they do. And at the end of the film, they're in an ambulance, and they get told that David's gone. And at the end of the film, Anna just kind of looks off and she goes, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." That's the end of the film. This film is really well done. I like the way it's shot. It's very John Carpenter styles all over this. It's definitely, Adam Wingard directed this a lot differently than Your Next. Your Next was more gritty by far. This is more beautiful shots, just smooth, fluid movements. It's not as handheld, for sure. And the score in the film is awesome. It's a synth score, and it's you can hear sounds from the Halloween 3 score. And even in the film, at the end, in the gym, the 3 Halloween masks from Halloween 3 are projected on the wall, which I thought was a really cool touch. And at the party where David and Anna go, somebody's wearing the wolf mask, or the fox mask from Your Next. So that's a cool little callback to Your Next. I would give this film an 8.75 out of 10. It's really well done. It takes its time to get going, but the actors are all doing very good work here. And Adam Wingard keeps the pace moving, even though there's a lot of downtime in the first half of the film. But once it gets going in the last half hour, it goes like a freight train right to the end. So if you've never seen The Guest, I highly recommend it. I just gave it an 8.75. Have you ever seen The Guest? If you have, leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. You all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll be back with a review very soon. Thanks. Bye.